I get asked a fair amount. How do we know when things are overpriced, underpriced? Brandon, you talk a lot about certain things being overpriced, or stocks, real estate being overpriced right now, and Bitcoin, gold, and silver are underpriced right now. So how do we know? Well, one of the things here, and it's gonna be a quick video, is the Dow to gold ratio, and this is a very quick way, very simple way. If you just stick through this for 2 minutes of just seeing where are we at in the cycle, where are we, and how do I know I'm getting things of value? And again, the biggest way, this is at Macro Trends, is a great website as well. There's a lot of different places to do it. I'll do a quick video on priced in Bitcoin 21. This is a great site as well, and measuring everything in Bitcoin. So we'll do a separate video on that. And Macro Trends is great because it does oil, commodities, gold to the Dow, Dow to oil, like all that. So check that out. But it gives you ratios. As Mike Maloney says, Americans know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Value is everything. Price means nothing. Ask people in the Weimar Republic, ask people in Argentina, in Zimbabwe, in Venezuela, when you have the eggs costing $1 billion or $100 trillion. Well, price means nothing. The nominal value means nothing. It doesn't tell you what's actually going on. So we need to know value. No, the greatest way you can really truly do that is, again, take things of value, things, actual assets, hard assets, and measure them against each other. Divide them by each other. And you start to plot a ratio. And this is exactly what this is. The Dow to gold ratio is a graph plotted over time of the prices of each. So you can determine an actual value of what's happening. So this is where, again, you can see in the year 1980 when gold was through the roof and stocks weren't, you see this ratio went way down. And then in 2000, you see it's way up here at 38, 40 when stocks were really high, meaning stocks were overvalued and gold is undervalued. Gold is like $250 an ounce. And then you see it again, looking through time here, what happened. And again, we had this bounce down in the 2008 recession, and then it bounced back up again. We have not had this retract to fair market value, which is really in here somewhere. And what we know, and Mike Maloney has taught this forever, is what we know is this has to go into undervalued territory for stocks. Gold has to go to overvalued territory and dip down below here. And you can create a trend line down here. You can see that gold in the next crash is probably going to get to 0.5 instead of 2 here and then 1 here. It's probably going to go down to 0.5. It's going to that trend line is coming down. These wild swings keep going more and more because we've broken the money. There's nothing backing it, the currency I should say. So these swings get more and more wild because it's just fiat debt promises, and so these swings get crazier. So we have a long way to go. We're at 17, 18 right now, and this should be at very minimum. Like even if you draw a trend line or a cross here, like an average or a mean, you're probably looking at 5. I know many people like Tom Dyson. There's many people that want this under 5, and I'd say that's fairly conservative. I'd probably want this under like 2 or 3 to know, hey, stocks are undervalued, gold is overvalued. I need to sell out of my gold and silver, say, and then buy stocks. So right now, people in general are paying way too much for stocks. Because we know comparatively, gold is an asset that's undervalued and everything needs to be repriced. And this is what's coming. The repricing is happening with everything going forward. That's why you see Bitcoin starting to reprice everything. Like I said, we'll do another video. You can watch this next video. Will be about pricing everything in Bitcoin and showing you when you divide everything by 21 million. Now it starts to become very easy. It's a control experiment. It's like seventh grade science. When you're doing an experiment, you're taught we want to control, and then we want to do one variable at a time. We don't want all kinds of variables moving around, different floating currencies and different interest rates, because now we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's broken. Now with Bitcoin, you can divide anything in the world by 21 million, and you have a yardstick now. You've got a control experiment. You can easily figure out the value of things. But again, Dow to gold, this is a great thing to show you very easily. Where are we at in the cycle? Even if you're not invested in the Dow or invested in gold, things like that, it generally kind of gives you the ability to see where society is at. So we had obviously crazy tops here in 1965, right before the 70s and 80 played out. We had another crazy top here in just markets and frenzy in 2000. And we've had similar things, going forward, and we're going to have this again. And if it melts up and then crashes again, where it's going to dip down into fair market and then undervalued territory for stocks, and you can trade out of that overvalued gold at that point and silver, those hard assets, and then move into stocks, because a lot of the hard assets will probably be moving similarly, we'll say, oil, things like that, will be moving similarly to the other commodities, gold, silver, stuff like that at that point. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have any comments in there as well. Like I said, check out the next video with priced in Bitcoin, everything priced in Bitcoin, everything divided by 21 million. It's one of the coolest aspects of Bitcoin, quite honestly, I think, because it's the repricing of everything and understanding true value and what's actually happening in society and how to make good investments. How to not get into things when it's at the top. People always, I don't want to get into the top. That fear, that FOMO, and they jump in at the wrong time. This is how you can understand. We have a long way to go for stocks to drop and for gold to go up. So we know here, up in these areas, gold is very undervalued and stocks are very overvalued. And we know down here, gold is very overvalued and stocks are very undervalued. So when it dips all the way down here below 5 and it gets to 3, 2, 1, we know that it's a great time to dump commodities, dump gold, and get into stocks again, good dividend paying stocks. So I appreciate your time and energy. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is not financial advice. It's freedom advice. That's all this is. Get independent, get resilient, and then you have nothing to fear at the end of the day. Get right mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally, and build community. Community is the biggest thing at the end of the day. So I appreciate your time. Time is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is time. The only fair trade, the only two finite things I know of that are fair to trade with each other. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.